My guest is Georgina Beament, and Georgina has, like all my other guests, a whole wealth of talents, and some you're going to be very excited about. Most interestingly, Georgina took her Facebook group, which is called the 1111 Awakening Code, to 1 million participants, 1 million followers. And every day, Georgina posts spiritual, high level stuff that help everyone on their spiritual path. So that's one of the first things. And we do have some other things, in fact, many talents, as I've said, but we'll start with that one. So, as well as being a mother and a wife, Georgina, with her Facebook group, is just going to tell us a little bit about that. Georgina, welcome.
Hello there, lovely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so my journey has been quite an interesting one, and I actually don't know how many years I've been on my journey, probably all my life, but it started when I was a little girl, and I used to see things that people didn't see. I used to experience things that people didn't experience, and I used to have very unusual, what I actually would call normal now, but I felt that was very unusual when I was a little girl. And so I've had a journey of understanding and awakening for a very, very long time. And I think I've been helped out by a lot of people on my journey to understand that what was strange was actually quite normal. And yeah, my journey has kind of been birthed through the support of others. I've been held and supported by just asking. I need help, I need support here. And I met a lovely lady who was a healer, and she did a lot of work on me, and she taught me how to use my chakras and close them up and open them up, because we come into this earth very open, especially with our chakras. So some children are able to manage them, but I didn't know how to manage. My mum was very open, so our spirit used to come in and use my body. I used to have all sorts of experiences, and once I met her, she helped me understand the power of who I was, but also how to manage my chakras. And from then I didn't look back. I was working at a very different level, and I was able to navigate my energy away from a lower state of energy, I suppose, and allow spirit and other people to come in and interfere with my body, because that's what happens if your chakras are really open.
Yeah, it does sound like you're really prepared, like you came in for this purpose and you were very aware of it from an early time.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, my mum actually, when I'll tell you a little bit about my mum. My mum always knew that she actually said one of her jobs was to have children, but she knew that she was going to bring in 3 special children. No one told her that. I've got a twin sister as well, and an older brother who, my sister is awake, my brother is awakening, but we've all got 3 different talents of how we use our energy, and my brother does that very much in his actual job that he does, and he's been unaware of how he does that. People gravitate to him, but I think he started to realize who he is, and he's awakening to that for sure. But my mum's always said that that was her only purpose, is to bring 3 special children into this world, and no one told her that. And I've been lucky to have a mum who was able, to be able to talk to her about what I called back then strange, which actually was normal. And I was able to speak to her about the things I used to see and the things I used to experience, although she didn't fully understand, but her vibration and openness held that space for me to be able to develop at a very young age without feeling judged and shut down, which most children are shut down if they're born into a family who aren't open.
Yeah, and I probably don't, well, I don't know if you'd be aware that there are lots of people now who are coming out and they're in their 50s and 60s, and they're talking about experiences that they had when they were quite young, or at least 20 years ago. And in those days, they would have been put in they're all saying they would have been put in a psych ward, a psychiatric ward, because of some of the things that they were sharing. And in those days, their parents used to say to them, don't talk to anyone about that. Don't mention it at school. Don't have that. Because the minute they found out,
Yeah.
that questioned about their psychological states. So they kept it quiet, but now they're actually coming out and saying it. So actually, instead of being seen as having a mental state, they're now actually able to share their gifts, which is, you know,
absolutely. Absolutely, and that's everything, you know, whether you're gay or you've got stuff that you're different to any at that time is now over, where people were able to express. Because go back in the days, if you were gay, you were deemed to be, you know, a terrible person, and you were told to keep quiet about it. But you know, over years, that has gone, because people are now opening up from the heart of who they really are, and society is ready to receive that and not judge that. So I've been lucky to have a mother and a father. Although my dad isn't fully awake, he has had enough experiences on his journey to understand that what I was sharing was not strange. And so I was very supported as a child, and all my sisters and my sister and my brother have been supported as well, through a very loving foundation, which I've been lucky. Yeah. So I've always had that, you know, Mum, I feel this, and my mum would listen, and then Mum, I want to do this, and she'd support me, and my dad, go and do it then. They never ever got in the way or interfered or projected what they thought they wanted for their children. My mum knew that she birthed 3 children to do something really big on this planet. She said that, and she knew it.
Yeah, that's very, and then that also gives that idea, it gives credence to the idea that you came here to do the work that you were doing. So
absolutely,
you were perfect circumstances for that to happen. So that's
absolutely.
fabulous. Yeah. We will talk about all your other talents a little later, but the thing that I'd like to ask you now is about the business that you have, Essential MBS. Would you like to tell us about the products?
Yeah, sure. Well, Essential MBS birthed from, it was, you know, guidance again. I was actually in a 9-to-5 job at the time that birthed, and I knew that was coming to an end, you know, of just doing things for money rather than doing things for passion. And I knew that cycle, that old cycle of lifestyle, was coming to an end. And I said to Matthew, I need to change. I need to do something different. And he said, well, where's your heart pulling you? And he said, what do you love? What do you really enjoy? And I said, well, I love helping people. I love supporting people, and I'm really good at doing that. But I also love making stuff. I like candles, and I love essential oils. So I went into meditation, and I asked my guides, what is it that I need to be doing right now? And like a thunderbolt, it was like, back then it was essential oils. And so I said, okay, how do I qualify for that? How do I do that? So I spent most of my time researching essential oils and how do I get qualified to make them. And I was guided to a wonderful lady called Sarah, who used to live in the UK, but she now lives in France. And she made these blends, chakra blends. Well, she makes more than chakra blends, and they're from the purest state. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it really authentically, but I really want very good base products. And I was guided to her, and everything weaved together. And from there, all the synchronicities, and I did a course and I qualified in that, and I learned how to make the products. And then I obviously have a very loving, supporting partner. We branded the products, and he helped me do the design, and then we employ people to help us build the website, and then the products birth from there. That from there, I actually fell pregnant. The business launched and it was doing really, really well. And then I fell pregnant and I was like, oh God, you know, what am I going to do now? But one thing I'm going to say to you, I was asking for a change. I was asking for a shift in my life, and to get me out of London, really, to be working from home and to be in my own vibration and energy. And so that's why I say be careful what you ask for. But I knew it was time for me to have a baby, and I knew I would be guided when that would be. But my falling pregnant was my shift of my life, because from being a mummy, I then expanded my business into more of the mentoring side. So I went from making products, which I still do, but then my friend actually said to me, Georgina, you need to add all your other services that you've been doing for a very long time onto your website and start to expand your business, not just with products, but what you do, who you're really about, the core you of how you support people on this planet. And that's how the services on my website was birthed. And I started to integrate, obviously being a mum, working with my products and then mentoring. And if anyone that's listening out there and says that I'm in a job that I don't like, and I'm really, really busy, then I'm going to say to you, you know, I was very busy, I was very distracted. But when you actually sit and listen and ask yourself, what is it that you really love doing? And what is it that you really want to do? And then move all the excuses out of the way, stuff surfaces, and, you know, your passion takes over. And that's what happened with me. I mean, I was very busy. I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going into work, into London, you know, and I could see that that cycle was coming to an end, but I had to make a plan of what it was that I really wanted to do. And there's been loads of distractions that's come in the way of that, loads, but I've still gone back to my foundations of what I really love and what I really enjoy. And I love making products, and I love, love, love helping people. I love supporting people. And that's how I've built my business, through what I love and enjoy.
Brilliant. I hope you don't mind me sharing something very private.
Okay, no, go for it. I'm not shy.
When we first met very long time ago, years ago, you showed me around the flat that you had then. And you took me into the bedroom, and honestly, Georgina, it was like walking into a temple. There was such a sacred feel in the air. I thought, this is just incredible. I don't know if I've ever told you that, but
No,
yeah, just
no.
amazing. That was also testimony to.
And my home is my home has been always been my temple. Always been my temple. It's where, you know, I'm very much a Taurian. I love the earth, the ground, and my surroundings. I love having things in order and pretty things, and it organizes me. When my foundations, when my surroundings are really organized and looking lovely, I feel lovely. And you know, I don't leave the house, even though we're really busy in the morning with Theodore, unless the bed's made. The bed has to be made, and Matthew's part of that order. You know, he knows that bed has to be made, but he's like that as well. You know, we're very compatible in many different ways, but he likes everything in its place. So yeah, but everything is vibration and everything is an energy. And when you take care of things, they take care of you in so many ways. You know, when things are in order, it's like it's saying thank you for doing that. You know, it's a blessing of love. You know, that's how I see it. And it comes back to me. And when people come to my home, they always say your house feels good, because I put the goodness in. It's an actual intentional thing that I do. It's not coming from a showy off gloaty place. It's coming on for raising people's vibration place when they come and visit, and I'm, you know, making everything really nice. I'm doing it to raise their vibration.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because it gives that air of just order and beauty and spaciousness and all of that. Actually, I do the same thing. When I get up, the first thing I do is make my bed. I don't move away from the bed until it's made. So that's, you know, something in itself. But also, when you provide that kind of vibration as well, that kind of kindness and order, people feel it and appreciate it. So that's
absolutely.
It's no wonder you've gone into feng shui, you and Matthew together.
Oh, well, no, it's something, I mean, it's probably more my drive, but when we go out shopping, Matthew and I are very compatible with what we like. Do you know, you go out with some couples or some, you know, partners, and he says, oh, I don't like that, and she says, I really love that, and then they row. I go out with Matthew, and he's almost like we look at stuff and we go, oh, I like that, and we both agree. And I'm really lucky and blessed that I've got a compatible person when it comes to home things, because my home is really important to me. And it's not if I get all my own way. All the stuff that we've got here is a compatibility of two people. So
that what that is also saying is that there is a harmonizing with every item in your home, with the agreement there. That harmony is in every object, and therefore it must emanate from your home in every respect. That's beautiful.
And you can feel that. And it's really funny, because when I fell pregnant, and before I fell pregnant, I said, I want a balanced child. I want a balanced child. I want a stable child to come into our life. And it's really funny, because while I was carrying Theodore, he was very, very still. He wasn't an erratic little baby, and that's no judgment on babies that are very highly strung. But Theodore's always been very calm, because I'm very calm. But I asked for balance, and his birth sign is the scales. He's a Libran. So I literally got what I asked for. He was calm, and he's very calm, and he's incredibly lovable, and loving, but he's very balanced, and he has actually come how I've asked. He's come in the sign of the scales. It's unbelievable. What you ask for, you get.
Yeah. And while he does seem very calm and kind of easygoing, he does have a bubbliness that kind of comes out. You can see it in the videos. Obviously, I've never met him personally, but there is that kind of bubbliness about him. So
he's very strong-willed. He's very knowing and very strong-willed. He doesn't take no nonsense. He don't take no for an answer. And he's come to two people where Matthew's very loving and kind, but he's very firm and very direct and very openly, you've met him, very honest. And I'm very honest, very loving, very, very loving. But I've also got a firmness to me where I don't take no nonsense. So we've got a child that's very very loving, but no nonsense, kind of like, and you can see it in him. It's like a little old man in a little body.
Yeah, and I can see why you call him Theodorable, because he is adorable as well. So cute.
He's so cute. He's so cute.
Thank you for sharing that. So let's move on to the coaching and mentoring that you do. Would you like to tell us about that work?
Yeah, well, I've been working with people I can remember even when I was at school, I was working with people. Go back as a little girl, I could see what wasn't right and how I could help people see things in a different way. And that hasn't changed, from schooling to the jobs that I've done. I've always been working with people. And I've realized as on my journey, on my awakening journey, that I realized that I think we're all doing work. I think we're all doing kind of like spiritual work or energy work and helping people on their paths. And I really started to notice, especially when I was working in my jobs in London, how good I was with people, like really good. I would give people advice and I could see them transform. And I know you probably have experienced this as well in the work that you do and just on your journey, that anyone that was with me would transform. And it sometimes necessarily wasn't even if I talked to them, just being in my presence was enough.
Yes.
That's like, I could see that. And that's not coming again from any kind of place of I'm higher than anyone else. It was just what I was witnessing on my path of how good I was with people, but how I was helping people on their paths. And obviously with the Central MBS, as you know, I started out with working with I suppose I was shying away, and it was probably more of a confidence thing that I hid away from, that, I was good enough to help people and be paid for that. That was another thing I had to overcome, is being paid for my services. And I was kind of pushed into that by one of my friends, actually, Samia. She was, she said, you're doing it whether you like it or not. She gave me no choice. She said, I'm building your website and this is what you're going to be doing. And she literally threw me in the deep end. And just my character and the way I am, you'd have to throw me in the deep end at some point like especially with things that I wasn't so confident in. You know, my mum and dad used to do that. People used to say, oh, Georgina's a really good swimmer. But then come competition time, I'll be like, I can't do this. And nerves would take over and I'd freeze up completely. So I'd have to have someone throw me literally in the deep end for me to do it. And my friend Samir did that. And she said, you know, you're doing your products now, but I really want you to start being paid for your services, like fully. And so she added, she spent hours with me going through all the things that I was really good at. And then she went through all different kind of like levels of what I could do and stuff. And then we launched that. And I haven't looked back since then, really. You know, people come to me in droves, and the more confidence I built up, the more people were coming, you know, and it was me getting over myself basically, because I've always helped people. And I just want people to know as well, you don't have to have the qualifications to do this, you know. If you're really, really good at something, then go and do it. I think we discussed this before we come on here, didn't we? About qualifications.
Yeah. The thing is, if spirit has qualified, if you were born with these gifts and you've come in with these gifts, who is there that can qualify you? You know, is there somebody higher than your spirit guides, than your higher self, than source, God, creator, angels, who gave you these gifts and you come in with them and you are able to do them and other people take benefit from them? Really, are you going to go into a college or a department or something and get a piece of paper that academically says, yeah, you can do this thing? But even if you could do that thing academically, do you really have the heart and the vibration and what's actually necessary to make a difference and make a change in people's life?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think there's like a couple of things I want to mention on that, you know. There's been loads of people that I've kind of who have inspired me, and there was one lady actually said, find stuff that you love and then make that your living. You don't need the qualifications of that. Just find the things that you love and then make a living from that. And that was like a massive key term for me, that, you know, I think for all my life I've always looked at, I need to be qualified to be a certain thing. But when you are really good at something, and it could be anything, I mean, I've got multiple talents. I'm really good at gardening, and I'm really good at keeping a home and design, and I'm really good at art, and I'm really good at, you know, there's so many different things that I'm really good at. It's having the confidence around that without the conditioning of you need to have this to get to that I've actually overcome. And I'm helping a lot of other people overcome that too, because a lot of people that come to me who have got qualifications really, really lack confidence to be able to go out there and do that. And when I look at the whole thing, if you was to really kind of step back and really, you know, put your hand on your heart, what is holding you back is believing in yourself and having the confidence to go out there and do that.
Yeah. You know, it's making me think that when you do something from a loving heart, when you put a love vibration into anything, it has a quality that doesn't quite match anything. And again, you know, I would go back to asking, who is it that's going to qualify you if you have a loving heart and you're doing something from the love of your heart? Who is it that's going to qualify you? And when you do that, does that mean that because it's come from love that you shouldn't charge for it? No, because you've had to get the training, you've had to get the materials, you've had to put in some things yourself, put in your time, money, and energy into something that's cost you money, which, you know, no one is going to just come and give to you for nothing. So you have to make that come back to you somehow. So yeah, I don't think it's
I think it's just an old structure of how we've been birthed into this very matrix world of
belief systems, maybe old belief systems that don't really
absolutely
apply.
And how we've kind of like been molded into a way of being doing things certain ways. But I always was told, because I was not very academic at all at school, I found that really difficult, and it's probably because I didn't have the right teachers to help me, because I was I don't even like to use the word dyslexia, because I don't think there's any such things of all these labels. I think we're so labelled up these days. I don't know whether you agree. you know, that
Absolutely.
yes, yeah, we're so labeled, you know, and we're kind of like, even that's part of our gagging of, you know, I've got this, I've got that, and it's kind of like blocking our ways of who we really are. But one of my mum, I didn't really enjoy school, and I found it incredibly difficult. But so my mum and dad did pay privately to have private tuition, and she used to help children with special needs, which even that in itself, special needs is quite, I think, an insulting thing to say to a child, you know. I don't know, I'm just like, I just think how we kind of speak to humans is quite insulting sometimes.
Yeah, no,
But anyway, yeah, she was a beautiful lady who said, look, she said to my mum and dad, there's nothing wrong with your children, there's nothing wrong with your Georgina. I tell you what's going to happen. Georgina will find something that she really, really loves, and she'll run with it, but she won't necessarily be qualified in it because she's already qualified. That's what she said. And she said she said your daughter will find a way, she'll feel a way, and she'll find the right people to help her along the way. And you know what? That's what's happened on my path. I've felt my way, and I find it really hard to take orders from other people because it's not me, you know. So if someone says to me, you have to do it that way, I kind of get myself all knotted up inside, and I'm like, I get stuck with someone else's order. But when I do things in my order and my way, things just really gravitate to me, and it comes alive, and I feel alive, and the right people then come to me in that way, without this boxed in way of you know, you need to do it this way. I do it my way, and it really does flow. It flows wonderfully. And I must say, it's not about being blessed. I have, through being open and letting go of this restricted way, I have met wonderful people who have helped me on my path. And I've met, you know, just even you coming into my life, and how, you know, just being me, being Georgina, or not even me, just being as a being. I've met some wonderful, wonderful people who have supported me on my path. And I wouldn't be here today without them. You know, every single person that's on any part of my social media has helped me to be where I am today. And that's not, I'm in a high place or whatever. It's just because I've listened to my heart throughout of all of that. And even when someone told me what to do, I've gone the other way. I've literally gone the other way because it's not true to me. It has to feel, I think anyone that's listening to this, you have to do things that resonate with you and feels good for you. And if it doesn't, then move away from that and always come back to self, what feels right for you.
Yeah, a couple of things I'd like to say to everything you've just said. The first thing is, the majority of the world's biggest spiritual leaders have not been educated, and yet they've been right up there as the highest embodiments of spiritual knowledge. That's the first thing. So we really have to check, you know, not that I think anything bad about intellectual information. I love it. We want to delve into it, you know. It's all available for us, and we've all had that. And in some ways, we've had information overload. So information per se by itself, how valuable is it? Well, that's up to each individual to decide for themselves. But when you can convert the intellectual information into spiritual and bring it into your vibration and being, I think that's when it actually makes a real difference in the world. So that's the one thing. The second thing is I've been a classroom teacher for 25 years. And my daughter actually said to me, Mum, they don't have special needs, they're special. And Georgina, from the time that I switched that around in my head and thought, she's right, they are special. They don't follow the norms. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just different. And as soon as I've seen them being special, they just respond in a different way. They're completely open, and they show their loving side, and they're not having to protect themselves. So you have a different relationship with them when you start calling them special instead of saying that they have special needs.
Absolutely. And that comes down to that, you know, someone couldn't really program me. You know, I didn't like school because I knew that the vibration of school wasn't going to teach me what I needed. And what I needed was life experience in the way of how I felt it and how I was here to work with it to support me and to support the people that I was here to help. I knew at a very, very young age that what I was here to do. And it didn't involve school. That was just part of my process of the experience that I had to probably integrate of that
Well,
difference.
the contrast, because it certainly sounds from everything that you've said, and obviously having known you all these years, that you are very much in your heart, that you're very connected to your heart vibration. And I think if anyone at all is interested in any form of spirituality or being on a spiritual path, that's where it begins and that's where it ends, is that when you recognize that love is the greatest energy in the universe and can make miracles happen. It sounds like what you've had to do is to have that contrast. Oh, they're like this at school. Oh, they're teaching me this nonsense at school. Oh, well, what's that? How valuable is that information? Can we use that in my, and you've had to sift through all of that, and after having done all of that, you've come back into your heart where you can now be of huge service and impact to other people's lives. And really, how much has school helped you? Well, it's only helped you with the contrast. It's not qualified you.
Absolutely. And I've really had to work with the self-love of me and overcome that we have to be a certain way to get to a certain place. And I've really done that through, having the right people, like my friend. Hey, go back to my mum and my dad. Go and do it, Georgina. Just do it. That encouragement without kind of going through other processes. I've had a very supportive partner who has just said, if you really want to do it, go and do it, And I've had really good friends as well that have said, I trust you. Believe in yourself. Go and do it. And even if you're not going to do it, you're going to do it anyway. So I've always had that. Just go and do it. Don't delay, don't overthink it, just go and do it. And that's what I've really worked on over the last, I would say, probably since I've had Theodore. He's given me so much. They say when a baby's in the womb, they heal the body, your body, and they correct all things that are not in order. But what Theodore has birthed is confidence for me. Being a mother, it changes you, doesn't it? It brings you into a whole new level. And I think since having Theodore, I've gone into an overdrive of believing in myself, a real confidence. And every time I look at him, it's almost like he just says, go and do it, mummy. Go and do it. Because, believe in yourself. And it's not that I need people to do that, but we sometimes do need that reminder of, just go and do it. Go and just be present in that. And the more authentic I've been on my path, and it could be the most smallest thing in all being authentic, like I'm having a really bad day, the more I'm real in that space and open up in that heart space, the more I'm helping people. Because that's what we've, as a society, we've been so disconnected. And I think these times is all about the connecting to self, returning to self, but connecting to others and be open and authentic in that space. I do feel that this is going to be a very interesting year. I do think the years to come as well is about the self and returning to that 0 point, but also how we're helping one another in that space of coming together in that 0 point as well, being real.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Now, you have actually started to develop a workshop so that instead of helping individuals one by one, you'd now be able to move into helping groups of people. Would you like to tell us? That sounds very exciting. Would you like to tell us a bit more about your plans for that?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's just like anything else. I think you know what works and what doesn't work, and I do know that obviously the services that I provide, there's great quality there, and people, how I've helped so many people through the services that I provide. But what I've actually seen over a period of like a few years of there's been a theme that's come to me through individuals of what people require, what is it that they need, but what I've already got, how I can actually help them over a longer period of time. And this is why the workshop, that I've actually got the material now, it's just literally weaving it all together. And again, this is where Matt's actually helping me. So when they're launched, I want people to know that he's behind this as well. It's not just me, of how the authentic work is from my knowledge and understanding, but his knowledge of how to put things together and how to help me, to support me with that, to bring that forward as well. So it's just, you know, just seeing and observing individuals and the pattern from that's birthed this workshop. And it may be a few workshops from this. It may not just be one, because the material's there, but we've not weaved that together yet. But it may be several workshops, but it's really based on the trauma. We was talking about trauma just before we came on, you know, and it doesn't necessarily need to be childhood trauma. It could be any form of trauma that you've gone along your life. You may have come from a very, very whole, supportive family as a child, and then meet a guy who breaks your heart, and then you don't trust moving forward, going forward to meet other people. So there's all different levels of trauma that people experience on their path. And yeah, I know that I have that ability to help people, but these workshops are going to be better structured, and it's going to give people time to work with me for a much longer period. And I know that they're going to be awesome. I think I've kind of delayed on them because I know what I'm bringing through is big. And I think because I've got such a big following, it's a massive responsibility. And there's other things that I've had to work on of, am I good enough to do this again? This has come up for me. Am I good enough to do this at such a big stage? Yeah, I'm doing that already on my page, but this is like, it's about responsibility again, and it's about, am I good enough? And then this comes back to working on I am good enough, I am worthy enough, and I can do this, and I will do this. And I've been shoved to do this by spirit, by my partner, by my mom, my dad, and my friends. So yeah, it is coming. But I think because I've been working as a mentor, support, I don't even want to use the word mentor, but a healer, a guide for so long, the stuff that I've kind of accumulated over that time has been big. So this is, and I don't do things in half measures as well. I do things, when I do stuff, I want to do it really well. So Matt's actually teaching me I don't need to have it all in order to be, you know, to produce that. You know, it's already there, Georgina, you just need to let go.
You are already doing it. And to be honest with you, you had the idea years ago. You spoke to me about it. You've probably forgotten. Years and years ago, you said we could do talks and workshops, and what a wonderful idea. And the other thing is, it sounds like the individual work has been preparation. So as you say, you know, I think we're very similar in many ways. You see the patterns, and
Absolutely.
then you learn. And when you see the patterns, you think, oh, that's really needed. That works very well. Or they didn't like that. Let's not go down that route. And so you're ready to take the best of your learning and your experience now and channel it into what's going to be eventually the workshops that you'll offer, which, as I said, sounds very exciting, and it's going to be very valuable.
Can I just also add, there's so much out there on social media, and this is what I really want to have probably a closing message on this subject, and it's so important. When you have a passion, and when you know that you're good at that, and then you kind of like put your work together, the biggest, I think, mistake that people can do is look out there of how other people are doing things, because that has been the biggest lessons of me, seeing other people do things and thinking, oh, I have to do it this way, or it has to be done that way. And that can actually become a massive distraction. You know, whatever you're bringing through, and I know from my own perspective, from what I've had to really cut off is the outside world of what other people are doing, because I may be bringing through stuff that's similar to other people, but it's not coming from me.
Yeah,
you know, it's not, you know, what's coming through you is very different. It's a different brand to everyone else, and there's a different frequency to everyone else. So it's always, I just wanted to give that message, is to always be authentic to you, and don't stop being distracted with what other people are doing and how things should flow, because that can get in the way as a block, and it can stop you from growing forward, because again, that is still that old formula of how the structure of schooling was. You have to be this way to be that way, or that person's doing it that way, let's follow that person. And then you lose yourself, you lose the quality of yourself in that way.
Yeah, I mean, if our divine creator, by whichever name we want to call that, has appointed Georgina to do this particular role,
Yeah,
he could have, if he or she could have easily have had 1,000 Georginas. Oh, I know, I'll go and make the Georginas the healers of the planet or something. But no, he chose Georgina to do Georgina's specific role and other people to do their roles.
absolutely.
And you know, while some things do appear on the outside as that they might be very perfect, actually, when you look behind it, at the end of the day, everybody else is also a human being having their challenges and their downsides, and yet
Absolutely.
everyone has to then put on a brave face and go out and do what they do. So no one is exempt from that. No one is any different. And so
Absolutely.
Tina has her unique talents, and then whoever else is offering whatever service they have, there is no other like them. And then I also believe that we get attracted to, if we ask the question, what shall I do about this? And there's a genuine feeling in your heart to find the answer, you get attracted to, maybe I'm going to be attracted to Georgina in this scenario. Maybe I'm going to be
Absolutely.
attracted to somebody else in another scenario. I do believe if you have that trust that, you know, it will naturally happen. People will find wherever it is they need to be.
Absolutely. And behind all of that is belief. If you believe that what you're doing is more than good enough, then the right people will flow to you in that order. They really will. It's behind every successful person is self-belief and confidence that they have built over their journey. It does. Confidence is not something that you have to build it yourself. It's not a natural thing. It's you have to build that technique within you. It's a mechanism. So yeah, it's I think really my biggest message in my launch and that I'm going to be giving is be authentic to you and listen to your heart of what it is that you're being told and shown to do, and what do you really love doing, what do you really enjoy doing. And once you find that, don't let anything get in the way. Don't let any noise get in the way, because you know you'll generate your own flow from that. And as you believe in yourself, you're giving the other people for them to believe in themselves too, and that comes back to you tenfold. And I see it. I've seen it on my work, on my journey. As long as I've been aware, and especially on social media, you know, I can be really passionate about something and it explodes because it's coming from me, but I'm giving other people to feel that, and it's powerful. It really is powerful stuff.
Thank you. You know, that sounds like a perfect way to actually end this, unless you want to talk about anything else.
No, I think it's come to a natural organic ending, and you know, I think you know, we are really walking special times on this planet, and I think the more raw and real you are, the more true to your own heart, and listening to that space without getting too sucked into the doom and gloom of that, I think we're going to be showing some wonderful things in the years to come.
Beautiful. Thank you. That is a perfect way to end. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm very grateful that you've come here to share all this with us today. So if people want to contact you, is that okay if they want
Sure.
to about this? What would be the best way that they could do that? Would you like them to go on the Facebook page, or would you like to provide them with a...
Sure. Well, you can come to me via my Facebook page, and actually, I think I'm the only Georgina Beament on Facebook. When you type in my name, there's no one else there. So
the other day, there was like 20 of them, and I had no clue which one.
Really?
Yeah. So that, yeah.
Okay. I can when I type my name in, that's the first person, Georgina Beament, that comes up. I don't see the list, but then I suppose I'm only looking at it from my perspective. But you'll know me. There's a lot of fake profiles going around. I think everyone's been cloned or hacked right now. So just be very careful of making sure that it is me that you're coming to and no one else. And you'll know just by, you can see what's fake and what's not. And by the feeling of it.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Right, it's probably not you.
No. So you can come through my Facebook page. I'm on Instagram. I've got a Georgina Beament account. I've got an Essential MBS, and I have an 1111 Awakening code. So you can type in there. You can also email me. I've got my email address pretty much on all of my social media. Yeah, my website, so essentialmbs.com.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Okay.
You're welcome.
Well, so okay, thank you very much. If you like this, please do subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. The more you can discuss these ideas, the more you can create an energy that attracts what you want. If you would like to read my book, Intention Meditation, for easy guidance, practical help with meditations, and to upgrade your life in every area, it's available on Amazon.com as Kindle, paperback, and hardback. If you're interested in coaching, meditation, psychic readings, and healing, please visit my website, which is in the description below, spiritualitywithv.com. Thank you for watching. You are much appreciated.